Good morning, people kind. Welcome back to Fresh, Slick, and Mick. We're continuing to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole because it's a deep hole.
Is it a hole or is it just like a?
It's a fucking crater, Mickey.
Or is it what do you call it?
It's like falling into space.
Oh.
Like if time and space collapsed on itself and created a wormhole.
I wonder what sound it would make.
What?
I wonder what that sound would be.
Probably
like,
not.
Like a fart.
Probably not.
I was thinking they say that. Oh, there we're done.
No, I just time traveled.
Yo, is the sound of the Big Bang just a toot? Just
It probably is. There's probably no sound. Like the most subtle toot. Like
Well, because space is a vacuum,
do
so there may have been nothing.
No, there's sound in space though. There's sound in space.
Have you been to space?
What?
Have you been to space?
Have you been there?
I'm currently in space.
You're not.
Space
dick.
time.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not. You're in hyperspace.
Oh,
Oh, what?
Fuck, here
That's
we go.
called fucking
All right.
foreshadowing,
That is a
bitch.
foreshadowing. Today we're talking about the Philadelphia experiment, which, you know, you can go on Wikipedia and look up the Philadelphia experiment. You
Or
can,
watch the movie.
You can read the intro paragraph and scroll down and see that it says it has been largely debunked. But for me, this thing has always been in the fucking back of my mind because VIP and family always talk about this one. I don't know why it's this one. I don't know if it seems more credible than the others, like other conspiracy theories, but like it just it's got me.
I think it because it might actually make sense.
All right. Well, I mean, that's a long road that we got to travel down to get to where it might make sense, but
I think for me personally, why it may be more believable than other ones is because during that time, that sort of arms race was insane. The experiments that Germany and the United States were trying to pull off, it was amazing.
I mean, that's when Hellboy came to Earth, right?
Think about it, man.
I'm not
Yeah, Hellboy.
100% sure on that.
What the fuck are you even
I
doing
never
here?
watched But you know what I mean though, like when especially because afterwards. After World War II, let's hire all these Nazi scientists because they were doing a lot more than we thought.
I
we
was
could.
going to say there's
Right?
a reason why I think this might have a little bit of legitimacy. It's because of one person,
Interesting.
Einstein. What?
And, okay, I said interesting. Like, I
Oh,
wonder who this, I'm wondering who this
interesting.
person will
I
be.
thought you said
yeah.
a name. No, Albert Einstein.
Oh.
Is tied to it. Did you find
Yes,
that?
I
Yeah,
did
okay.
find that.
That's the one that's very credible. Because think about it, the Manhattan Project. They created the nuclear weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody would like. No one would have thought that was even. That's sci-fi. That was sci-fi until it hit Japan.
It was.
Then it was fucking.
Jesus.
No, it's the truth, bro. That shit was fucking science fiction.
Yeah.
Until that bomb dropped, and then it was reality.
But there was a race, like the tech.
No, I get it.
You know, like the Russians were trying to do it too.
Yeah, totally. But they had Einstein, and that's what I'm saying is Einstein was involved in this.
Yeah.
So why would Einstein be involved? I'll hold that.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Fun facts.
In Mega Man, bear with me, Dr. Wily is based off of Einstein.
Wow, can you give me that 4 seconds back of my life? Oh,
Dr. Light's based off of Thomas Edison. I don't know if that helps.
Thomas Edison.
That could not be more obvious. You look at him. Einstein is the prototype for every crazy scientist.
Yeah.
He's a prototype for fucking Doc Brown.
Well, a big reason
Rick and Morty.
I was talking with my brother about it was because, you know, obviously with Edison being with the Manhattan Project, they obviously make him the villain,
Who?
Dr. Wily. And therefore, Albert Einstein, they make him the villain in this video game because he was a part of the project that bombed Japan.
Wait a minute. They do the Manhattan Project in Mega Man?
No. But when they were making their villains, they're like, oh, who's a bad guy? Oh, Einstein.
yeah.
Einstein's a bad guy because he fucked us.
Yeah.
But I think there were some false pretenses that he followed. Einstein on the Manhattan Project. I read about it a long, long time ago, but
But dudes like
slightly remember,
Einstein and Oppenheimer, they knew as it was happening. Like, they kind of knew. And as they were nearing the finish line, they realized, like, we've made a horrible mistake.
thing. Yeah, like he resigned from it like near the end, and then they finished it without him. There's also rumors though with the Philadelphia experiment that Tesla was involved.
Yeah, but people just drop Tesla.
I know,
There's
that's
crazy future tech. They're like, you know, Tesla.
But I'm just saying he's attached to it by rumor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They don't know if it's a rumor or if it's truth, but I mean, if he's
I heard that
involved,
Tesla made Baghdad batteries and built the pyramids. What's up?
I heard Tesla sucked me off once. No,
I heard Tesla was his
I
own
did
dad.
hear that
he's
as well.
a
He was, like,
ghost. It was
sloppy.
weird. No, but I mean, okay, you got Einstein and then potentially Tesla. Those are two huge minds
Can
working
you
on
imagine
some
putting
shit.
those two in a fucking room together?
Right? They'd probably kill each other.
I feel like nothing would get done. You
I
know,
feel
because
like-
it's two powerhouses going, no, you're wrong. No, fuck you.
or
I
they
feel
just
like
smoke a
it'd
ton of
either
weed.
be like the scene with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen playing chess in X-Men.
oh yeah,
Or they'd just get wasted.
yeah, like smoke a ton of weed.
Yeah,
for
they'd just
sure.
be idiots.
Yeah.
With pipes. They're
Yeah.
let's make a ship disappear.
That's the craziest fucking thing, man.
You can't do it. Yeah, we
They're gonna call us wizards.
I like Eddie Griffin talking about inventing the telephone.
I've never seen that.
He's
It sounds familiar.
it's a short bit. He's basically just like, how fucking high? He's like, all the founding fathers, all those guys back in the day, like Victorian age and all that, they were all high out of their fucking minds.
Yeah.
Do you know how high you got to be to imagine a telephone? I wish I could talk to somebody who wasn't even here.
Like that guy was stoned. But that's interesting that you brought that up because so now let's talk about conspiracy theories. Usually
us.
they
Lettuce.
revolve around something that has happened that might have a deeper truth or maybe some type of science that we think is totally like immeasurable. We can't even imagine or fathom it.
Right.
Right? We have no idea how it works. But like you said, right? Like imagine those guys were stoned. Imagine a dude saying, I want to talk to someone who's not even here. Those people back in the day, before these things were invented, before this science, came to light, they all thought like it was impossible. Like they majority of the population probably couldn't fathom those kinds of things, and it took a special person or a creative person to come up with those ideas. So,
I mean, the majority of the population today could not build a computer if they had the pieces in front of them.
yeah, they'd have no
So-
fucking
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
It doesn't
knowing
matter,
what
yeah,
it was. So,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, you're right. It's big jumps.
People can't even build a fucking IKEA table, bro.
Okay, that's IKEA's fucking fault, though. That shit sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Not shout out to IKEA.
No, not Shadow.
No, negative shout out.
But just because it's been a while, what up, Glasslock? We're still here, baby. We're
Glasslock.
still waiting. Glasslock.
I used your product the other day.
I-
Kept my veggies fresh.
I own many Glasslock containers, and
Conspiracy.
my lunch is always very fresh.
Glasslock.
Glasslock.
All right. Enough Glasslock plug. We really want some free Tupperware. Like, I mean, that shit, I use that a lot. So like,
You
something
probably
that-
shouldn't call them Tupperware then.
Oh yeah, sorry, not Tupperware. I'm stupid. Forgive me, Glasslock.
Carry on.
No, okay. So saying that, I mean this whole thing. We're gonna have Mickey outline the whole thing.
Okay.
But it sounds almost magical.
Okay, so first I want to talk about like the basic official story.
All right.
Like just what is it as it is told? Like what would the military actually say the Philadelphia experiment was?
do you know?
From mine,
Yeah, what would you get?
Well, they just denied.
They didn't came because I found a story they came up with.
The
Yeah, it was
military
just
came up with.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't find that for the life of me. I looked for
Okay.
anything that I
There
could.
is.
Yeah,
First of all, we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves.
Well-
We have to outline what this is, what happened,
Okay.
the
I have-
actual
Okay.
story.
I have the
Okay.
dates and everything.
You have like the story of what happened.
Well, I-
what,
no,
what transpired.
Give me the summary. Give me the 2-line summary.
So, 1943, July 22nd, July 28th, USS Eldridge, Navy destroyer escort, 2 experiments, invisibility and teleportation.
Right. Okay. So, pretty much the sum of that is there was a fucking destroyer in the Philadelphia dock called Eldridge, and it fucking vanished out of thin air. And there's a ton of rumors of what the fuck happened. And people say
And I'm sorry, possible time travel too.
possible time travel, and then there's fusion of people into metal into the ship, and death, and cases of mental illness and all that as a repercussion of all this shit or consequence. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
say
some.
some of the crew members were fused into the mast.
And the hull.
In
Like
the hall.
everything.
Oh, everything. Yeah.
Everything.
People were
I
fucked.
love finding pictures that people just kind of like sloppily
Yeah.
copy and pasting. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Some dude like in like a deck. Yeah. In
yeah,
the deck of the
pretty
ship.
good.
And then you find out that wasn't copied and pasted, and it's a real picture.
All right. So I don't know where do we start. There's a lot to start here.
Well-
but the official, I can tell you the story I came across what the Navy said.
Yeah, the official
The
story.
Navy pretty much said that they were conducting cloaking experiments, but it was to cloak them from magnetic triggered mines.
Then yeah, I did.
Degaussing, I think it's called.
I didn't get the term, but you know what? I did read that.
Yeah. So what that does is it wires wrapped around the hull of the ship demagnetizes the metal, which then when it sails over the mines, the transmitter, the magnetized whatever trigger device doesn't go off.
Yeah.
Doesn't set a magnetic whatever field. So that's the Navy's story as to what was going on there. So
Yeah.
they did admit to an experiment, but
Which I think opens up the floodgates for, okay, so if you're admitting a little bit, how much of what we were saying was true?
right then, as far as I can tell, I only came into 2 eyewitness accounts of this, and one was I read one from supposedly somebody who was on the ship, and from a merchant.
I didn't get the merchant. I got the person on the other ship. The, I can't remember the ship. The SS Andrew.
Was that in Virginia, or was that in
believe
Philadelphia?
Carl Allen?
Yeah, that was the ship that was in the same dock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, at Philadelphia. Okay.
No, I thought he was in New York. Fuck me.
What?
Never mind. Ignore me. I'm a fucking...
No, the Philadelphia experiments because it was in Philadelphia.
I know, but when the teleportation happened, it was over in New York briefly. Then
See, this is where it gets really foggy because
Yeah.
there's a bunch of different stories.
That's
of
what I
where it
got
went.
from Carl Allen. He said he witnessed it appear and then disappear. So he didn't see it disappear and then reappear. He saw it appear and then disappear. So
Right.
From what I gathered, he was in New York, saw it, and it was gone in a
Right.
green cloud of smoke and shit like that.
Okay.
But did you hear that this motherfucker also went by Carlos Allende? Illegal immigrants.
Carlos Miguel Allende.
Allende.
Excuse my pronunciation.
I didn't research any of this guy, so I'm
I did.
intrigued.
Yeah, he's one of the primary sources, actually.
But
Sources.
one thing I want to kind of just set the scene with. So right off the bat, the first experiment on July 22nd, official records say that the ship was not commissioned yet.
Right.
But what does that mean?
That means it wasn't commissioned to go into battle.
So
Right.
I looked up the steps in which a ship is to be commissioned. And
Okay.
now you're going to see from my paper here, it's all scribbled out.
Yeah, it is.
Because I read it all, and then I was like, oh, I better check my sources. Oh, for the love of fucking God. It was from a Star Trek website.
Oh my God!
Oh, I know. But
That's
then I was
fucking
like, so
amazing.
I was pissed. I scratched it out, and I looked up on some like real sites, and it's the same thing. I was like, okay, so they were right. They just posted it on a...
That's some bullshit that had happened, though. Like, they'd put the actual story out on Star Trek. No one will believe this shit.
No, just like how a ship is commissioned.
Oh.
Not the Philadelphia, just a ship.
Oh, so it's the same
how
way.
a ship is commissioned.
Okay,
'Cause
all right.
I was intrigued. Like, what the hell does commissioned mean?
Right. Okay.
So, right off the bat, ship is built.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is called a laydown. So apparently they lay down a part of the ship and they build up around it.
Right.
He is. He's really going to define Philadelphia for us. Jesus Christ.
Then after that, the vessel is what's called launched, which is now they're testing. Okay, so this is where it's called a shakedown cruise to figure out if there's any problems with the ship.
Right,
Blah blah.
right.
And then it's commissioned.
Okay.
So, just by saying, "Oh, the ship wasn't commissioned yet," doesn't work.
No, because the ship's still there
ship-
and it's on the water.
The ship has been on the water
Yeah.
before commissioned in July 20,
Right.
July 22nd, 1943. There's as far as whether or not they want to admit to that, as far as I'm concerned, it had to have been on the water for a shakedown test.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Fair.
So
Okay.
I just kind of laid the groundwork
so
for the first test.
the ship. Okay. So you got anything fresh before I go in?
No, I'm good. We're good.
You good?
Proceed.
You sure?
Proceed.
Proceed.
How
Okay, so the first test, what happened exactly? Because I'm hearing different shit from what I found too.
So
already.
from what I got, Carl Allen was on a ship called the SS Andrew and witnessed the experiment in New York. He saw a ship appear for a couple of seconds and then disappeared. From that, though, from what Carl Allen did through his research, is he found that not only did he see what he saw, supposedly, that when it went back to Philadelphia, it was 10 seconds behind.
Okay.
So from there, he's like, okay, so not only are they testing teleportation, they're trying to time travel.
Right.
Is what he gathered from it. And from there, he said he spoke with some of the crewmen, this is from what I read, and some of them had just straight up, like, they were insane.
Right.
and he claimed that this is a tactic in which there were the people who had died on the ship,
Right.
from either just their heart stopped.
This is the first experiment. People who already died.
yes, based on
What he says.
this. No, I am so sorry. I'm backwards now.
Oh, okay. I
Sorry,
was
the
gonna say,
first
this sounds
experiment was manipulating the fields to make it look invisible.
Right. So
My
it was
sincere apologies.
invisibility to sight.
Yeah, so he saw the second one. Fuck.
Right. He saw the second one.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it sounded like. That's all good. So the first test they did successfully, apparently, and made the ship not only invisible to radar, but to just human sight
Human sight.
in general.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I read.
So that's wild because the
Yeah.
degaussing thing, degaussing,
I think it's degaussing. I don't know.
it's fucking Germans. Anyway, that whole thing appears to, well, I mean, it is a real thing. They still do it today.
Yeah.
But there's already like suspect accreditations as to whether that was actually going on with the Eldridge.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. That's the sort of thing that seems to me like that's one of those things that makes me lean towards the conspiracy theory. Because at first I'm like, oh, it's just this thing that they did and still do. Yeah, sure. But then they're like, no, we didn't do that. I'm like, whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why are you saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, from what I read, they said that's what the wires were for. Because the
Right.
ship was there with the wires.
Right.
So, to bend the light, or to make it invisible, I guess you have to bend the light around the ship. Or essentially create a mirage. Right? This is what I found. So, what apparently I read up on this guy named Al Bielek. I can't even read his
no idea.
I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, we'll
horrible.
call him Big Al. So Big Al states he was on the ship. Now this guy's story sounds like it's straight out the motherfucking like J.J. Abrams vault, bro. Like
Yeah.
it is sci-fi as fuck. But at the same time, it's like, all right, I don't know. It's weird. So he says what happened was they had a supercharged generator on board of the ship that used extremely high frequencies of to power these wires.
Yeah.
And what they were trying to do was heat. Did you find this too?
Yeah, this is-
Okay. They heat the air around the ship, causing it to look like a mirage, rendering it invisible.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You just took a big jump. 'Cause
Wasn't that-
You kind of skipped that principle.
What?
The whole mirage thing. You should explain that.
Oh, yeah. So I guess in nature this happens where an island appears to disappear when conditions are right because there's a mirage in front of it, or it's surrounded
Okay.
by a mirage because of probably something similar like land
Heat,
attracts more
atmosphere,
heat, right? All that kind of
reflection,
shit. So they're pretty much trying to replicate a natural thing on command.
Okay.
And I guess the first time I found the same shit, it worked. There was like a green haze, and then the ship was gone, and it came back into. But it took time. It took a lot of time. So they wanted, from what I found, what this guy said was it took a lot of time. So they wanted to like minus the time, right? Like
Yeah.
deduct the time. Wanted to be faster, almost like instant. Go, boom.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that leads to the second experiment where you're talking about the ship actually just
Fully.
everything just going wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Shit hitting the
technically,
fan.
the point of this experiment, we will lay this out, was not teleportation, was not time travel. It was invisibility. That's
Yeah.
what they were trying to achieve.
None of the supposed effects.
But the two things that happened
Yeah.
later just happened. So let's move on.
I mean, if something disappears, you definitely can't see it. So
That's true,
mission accomplished.
I guess. So they successfully miraged their ship, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
Slowly. So we go to the second experiment,
So-
which is what you were talking about.
Yes, and this one happened in October 28th.
That's 1943, right?
Yep, still the same year. Still the same year. And so it's teleportation and what they called small scale time travel.
Right.
From Philly to actually Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Norfolk.
not New York. I don't go to New York because it sailed out of New York. That's what they said.
Oh, it sailed to Philly.
Yeah.
Got tested, and then it was seen in Norfolk, Virginia. Yeah.
Yeah. But part of what they were saying. Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. I am all over the place on this one.
Yeah, you're terrible. Absolutely.
So the official claim is that on October 28th, the Eldridge was in New York port waiting to go to Casablanca.
Okay.
The ship Allen was said to have been on at that time, October 28th, was sailing across the Atlantic to the Mediterranean as part of the across the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean port city of Oran.
Okay.
So I'm just again laying the official statements of on
okay.
that day in question.
Right.
The Eldridge was docked and Allen was nowhere near it.
And Alan is who the fuck is Alan? The eyewitness?
Yes, Allen's the eyewitness.
All right. So he's already sailing away the day that the second supposedly.
The official reports say.
Right.
So now in the 40s, the Navy is now doing experiments on this naval vessel to make it. First, we tried invisible, and now they said what Alan is saying is they try to do it in a different way because they're like, this kind of works, like you said with the first time. It's like, but let's try it more
right.
power, more whatever, more wires.
Yeah, more wires.
And then
more wires.
So, and that's where we are with the ship being straight up teleported. Shows up for a brief moment and then disappears again. And Alan, and apparently he, through his own words, he says, oh my goodness. His own shipmates saw the event.
Okay. So we'll stop there because I got a whole different account on what happened. Okay, unless you want to touch this.
No.
Okay, we're sticking with this Al guy's story. Al's on the ship. Al did the first test, said it was good. Al's on the ship now with his two other brothers, Jim and Duncan. Okay, Al's an engineer. He's in the control room. This is like an interview right here. That this dude, I think this guy just compiled everything he found about the Philadelphia experiment right on this one website. Is what I found.
And he interviewed Alan?
Yeah. Apparently, he found he didn't interview him. Somebody interviewed.
It wouldn't be Morris K. Jessup at all, would it?
Dude, that fucking looked like. I know you can fake that sort of shit, but that looks kind of.
Well, they have like documents.
Like a real thing.
They have documents from the Navy denial, pictures of the ship. This guy even says in his first paragraph, like, I'm not a physics expert. This just really intrigues me, and I just want to keep an open mind to anything.
Can you imagine being the Navy trying to debunk every fucking conspiracy that comes at you?
I know, right? Like, what a fucking... Yeah, Casablanca right here. So between 4th... Yeah, all right, cool. She made 9 voyages.
Who did, the Eldridge?
Yeah.
Oh, she's an escort.
Okay. So,
it is, yeah.
So this guy says in the second experiment, pretty much what happened was the same. I think they wanted to do it faster from what I got. There's a lot of fucking information, and I kind of had to read it quick.
Okay.
So they put more power and they did things differently on the ship to make it happen faster. And this Al guy says it happened in 70 seconds, and he's never seen that before. So what happened apparently is that they bent the light around the ship, causing it to be invisible. But they when they ended up bending the light, they ended up bending space and time.
I was just gonna say,
and caused the displacement.
Yep.
Right. So we're on the same track here. Now here's where it gets weird. Actually, it just keeps getting weird. To be honest,
as if it wasn't weird already.
So this guy asked them, "Okay, what happened after that?" Mm-hmm. So they said, "Okay, there's a green mist, and everything's going on, and then all of a sudden the ship is moving." So we go out and look on the deck. Him and his brother Duncan. Jim's just like a ship dude. His other brother.
Sure.
He's just like a ship hand. These guys are like engineers. So they get out of the control room. They go and they look around. The ship's not like it's not moving, but it feels like it's moving. They said it's really trippy. They don't know what to do.
Okay.
All the shit is frozen. Like levers and stuff, you can't pull any levers. Everything's frozen.
On the ship?
They were on the ship. This is what this guy says.
Holy
this is his first right. This is his first-hand experience on the ship during the experiment. So he's on the ship. They said that it was all green, right? And it felt like they were moving, but they weren't moving. Didn't visually look like it.
Keep going.
And all the shit was the power was like supercharged. Like all these. They were all overheating, superheating. They couldn't shut anything off because everything was frozen in time. So they decided to jump overboard while this was going on, him and Duncan. So Big Al, and D-Man jump overboard this motherfucking ship with green shit all around, and they said they didn't hit water. They said they kept falling for about 2 minutes. And they have military training, so they're like, we had a good estimate on how to assess time, right, in a dark
Well,
space.
you have
It's
to.
like we jumped and it was dark and we've just kept falling.
Jesus.
And then we woke up and we were in New York
What?
at what's that place called?
Montauk?
The Montauk facility. And he was talking to the doctor who ran the Philadelphia.
Okay, wait. When they woke up in New York, where were they?
I can't remember. Let's see if I can find it.
Just do a
Like,
control F.
Did they hit
New
the
York.
Tell me
water?
all my life.
Okay.
No, they didn't hit water. I can't remember.
Whoa.
Fine. Okay, so the Montauk base. We were floating someplace. It felt like we were falling through a tunnel. We didn't know where we were or what was going on. We experienced what seemed like 2 minutes of this, and I have to be totally subjective on the amount of time. We would end up. See, there's a spelling mistake. So how incredible is this? We would end up in a military base, standing on our feet at night with a chain link fence to our back.
What the fuck?
Okay. What was the name of the military base? Oh, the Montauk base on Long Island, New York. But it has ties to what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So they didn't know it at this time. The next thing they know, there was a helicopter beaming a searchlight into our faces, and we didn't know what a helicopter was. They were still in experimental phases in 1943. Military police ran out, grabbed us, and took us into a building. We went down several floors in an elevator. Underground, an elderly civilian walked toward us and said, "Gentlemen, I've been waiting for you. I'm Dr. Von Neumann." Apparently, Dr. Von Neumann was in charge of the experiment, the Philadelphia experiment. Yeah,
So
we got to
they
pause.
Fucking teleported and they just showed up in
They
this
did
crazy...
not teleport. That
did
is
not
where you're
teleport.
wrong. They time traveled.
They timed.
They are in now 1983 in
What?
New York.
What?
What?
This is what this guy's saying.
We need Lil Jon in here. What?
What? Okay. I guess.
It's not okay.
So they're in, at this point, they have now teleported or time traveled to 1983, exactly 40 years later, in New York at some fucking military base.
Okay.
Okay, and they go on to pretty much say they give them the underground tour. They've never seen technology like this. They said they're watching color TV on a big screen. They've never seen that before. You know, they've never seen a helicopter, blah, 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 blah. Gets even weirder, but we're not going to get into that yet. So pretty much this guy says, we've been waiting for you. Like, this was expected to happen.
What?
Yeah, that's where it gets trippy. So they were talking, and they tell them all the events. Like, yeah, we win the war. You know, the World
Yeah,
War
'cause they
II.
came
We're in the
from
Cold War.
43.
Yeah, we're in a Cold War with Russia right now. They tell them everything.
Okay.
Then they send him back, and they say, what you're going to do is you're going to go back with your brother, and you're going to smash all the controls on the ship with the fire axis. Right? So they send him through a time machine. But the guy says it's not really a time machine. It's more like a time tunnel. You walk through it, and you're like transported through time. So it's a tunnel apparently that bends light, space, and time.
See, like, and remember what I said last week when I was talking about how like they do this in movies to make it less real?
Yeah.
Everything you're saying, I have now 2 movies that I have seen 2 different events, and it's really fucking me up right now.
Okay. So then
I'll tell you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's just really weird that
I'm not worried. I don't care about what it says in movies.
no, but that's what I mean though. Like they throw it in movies to make it seem less realistic.
like more
That's what I'm
sci-fi
saying.
than actually
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's
that is essentially the principle of time travel and why it's
Yeah.
apparently unachievable, because you have to basically move with light.
yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. You don't move. Space and time moves around you. That's generally the theory of like hyperdrive or like wormholes, because that's essentially time travel. Anyway, okay, we're not going to get into that because that's a whole fucking some shit like that. Or yeah, you can move with light and travel that way.
Right.
Oh no, you know what? You're right. I'm wrong. Wormhole is the way to avoid time travel.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So you can go far distances without aging, going the speed of light.
That's
yeah.
bending.
Or no, not you aging, because you won't, because of the theory of relativity. If you're traveling the speed of light, you will not age.
Yeah.
Everything around you that is not traveling the speed of light will. So it'll be like you time traveled
Yeah.
because of the theory of relativity. But if you create a wormhole, and you can go through the wormhole without traveling yourself the speed of light, and you come back through the wormhole, the time is still relative. So if I were to leave now and come back tomorrow, it's still now and tomorrow here. I haven't aged and you haven't, or we've both aged the same amount of time. Anyway.
Oh my God.
So this fucking guy, they walk through and they're back on the fucking ship. They send him back to the ship. They said they mastered time travel in 1983. This is what this guy said. We've mastered time, space, and light already. In 1983, they send him back. They go out into the control room and they smash the fuck out of this ship, all the controls.
Yeah.
And then it dies. Because I guess part of the problem was the generator on that ship had enough fuel for this thing to last 30 days. And the field kept growing. Oh. This is what the doctor said. The magnetic field around the fucking ship kept growing. That within 30 days it could engulf the whole Earth. This is the interview.
Okay.
So they had to send him back to stop this thing manually. And when they did, they were back in Philly with people attached to the boat or severe mental illnesses or blah, 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 or dead or just not there. Or there was cases of like 20 years down the road, they just spontaneously combusted.
Jesus.
Shit like that. And then he got into asking how they got fused with the ship, and he said it had to do with the movement of the ship and the movement of the bodies at the same time. So if you were walking and then you drop back, you were fused. Or if you were like near a wall and you're walking, you're fused with the wall.
Yeah.
But I didn't even touch on this. Where'd they go? Because this is the difference. I did not find Virginia anywhere in it. This is what he says, that the ship actually got displaced from reality. Reality being the 3 dimensions we perceive every day. And
the third dimension we perceive.
like there's 3 dimensions that we perceive every day. I don't.
Well,
what are they? What are the 3 dimensions? Isn't the
XYZ.
yeah XYZ?
That is the third dimension, isn't it? Is it
No,
not?
it's 3-dimensional. So
No,
real.
literally think of your graphing paper.
Yeah.
X, Y, and depth.
Depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the third dimension.
No, that's all 3 dimensions.
Oh, okay. Then I've
Yeah.
understood it. I've misunderstood it very much so.
This is the dimension of perception, bro. That's how we perceive our physical reality, right?
Okay.
So depth, height, width, whatever.
Okay.
XYZ. Like
I just thought that was
fresh
just
Yeah.
called the third
No,
dimension.
no. Well, it is.
Okay.
It is because it's like that's our thing. Anyway,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
the 3 dimensions of time, which I believe are past, present, and future. So there's 6 dimensions we can perceive reality in our mind. The ship actually got displaced into the 7th dimension or hyperspace. So essentially, it's still in our reality, just out of our spectrum. I guess I'm no physicist or anything, so it's hard to.
I watched a few videos on quantum physics and how essentially we could technically perceive a lower dimension, but we could not perceive a higher dimension.
Right.
So
What does that mean?
so we could technically look down on the second dimension.
What does that mean?
What is
No, you're talking about different dimensions, and I'm talking.
I think you are.
I'm
not
talking
on the
about
ball.
dimensions in the perception of the world. You're talking about literally like planes of existence, like Thor.
No. This is quantum physics. There's a whole
Yeah. But they're that's a different dimension.
That's
Yeah.
not.
yeah.
but
I guess it kind of is because that's what hyperspace is, a higher dimension. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you are right.
because like, the theory is that there could be beings of another dimension that can actually see us, but we can't perceive them because
Right.
we don't perceive that.
Right. Yeah. So
It's 100% just like a theory, but
where'd the boat
yeah.
go? It went into hyperspace, which isn't reality. So therefore, nobody in our reality can define where the boat went. And they even said that the water line surrounding the hull dissipated with it too. So there was just an imprint in the water of a boat that was sitting there.
Okay.
Like the boat was still sitting there.
That's fucked.
So it's still there, but it's not there. It's in hyperspace. Some shit like that.
So I don't know if you can answer this. So like, are ghosts, the possibility of ghosts, is that a in between dimension thing?
Well, there's theories of that, yeah. There's theories. There's so many theories on that shit. It's a whole other episode. Anyway, so they get back. People are,
Fresh looking at ghost hunting.
no, it's not. So it's
Ouija board out
fucking.
here.
They're all fused and shit, and that's pretty much it. And then he asks him like, "Why are you speaking so openly about this and nobody else is?" Which is a great question.
Yeah, it's a very
Because he is the only person that says any of this.
Sure.
Not to mention that he did say aliens are involved, and to this experiment and the other experiment, are linked and locked together in time space continuum. Blah 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 blah. Like it goes really fucked up. But I'm not going to get into all that.
Montauk was supposedly psychological stuff. It was not.
Oh, maybe then
physical.
I read I just probably.
No, I'm sure you read
no,
it right, but
Montauk,
it feels like they're
MON.
just piling shit on top
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no,
that's all-
but where else would you send somebody if you're trying to get them to follow what you want them to do? You send them to a place that fucks with your head.
I guess.
I
mean,
wish that wasn't a good point.
I wish. So they go back. They fucking smash the shit. Then sorry, I lied. There's 3 brothers.
Yeah.
Here's what he says happens to his brothers. Al is completely fine.
Yeah.
He's not even scarred mentally.
Ow, my God.
Big Al is fucking A-okay.
My
Yeah.
God.
Duncan, motherfucking Big D, while they're dropping back into reality, that motherfucker jumped overboard again. Crazy motherfucker. Right? If that shit's real and you know you're going to time travel, so he might be in 1983, right? Who knows where Duncan is? No one knows. He just vanished.
Okay, so Duncan's gone.
Duncan's gone.
I missed
They
Duncan
said,
already.
as far as I got, Duncan is gone and never been discovered again. And from what I heard, Al said he jumped overboard, thinking Al was going to go with him. But then Al said he saw his little brother Jim halfway fused in the deck,
But
and he was crying.
Jim was otherwise not involved in this.
No, Jim was just. This is why Al stayed on board, and he can relay the story because he would have jumped over with Duncan.
Okay.
But he went and hugged Jim, and Jim died in his arms. And then they.
Okay, so how the fuck did Al get through okay? And Jim didn't go with them.
He also said it was completely like randomized. Like some people were fine, some people weren't. Like it was just a freak, I guess. Thing.
On that, from what from Carl Allen, he was saying that after the experiment, the people who were fine, they brainwashed them because they were not trusted enough to keep the secrets. Like, nope, we're just gonna brainwash you. It never happened.
So-
Deny. And some of them who fought, apparently, they just made them insane.
Carl Allen was that sci-fi novelist, right?
No, that was
Or was that the other guy?
Jessup.
Jessup, yeah, Jessup.
Yeah, Morris K. Jessup.
Yeah, there's a couple dudes that wrote some interesting shit about this, but it's all very different. But essentially, what I'm finding, because that's like the end of my story. Like he just goes on to say they're not going to touch us. Like he gets weird about like not getting killed till 2003. They can't touch us because after 2003, the time hole will close completely, and then they can. But if they kill us, it goes really fucking weird, man. But I ain't getting into all that shit. 'cause that's-
Well, that's just where you're getting into. If they die, then they couldn't have happened, so therefore they have to keep them alive until a certain point, or they would just reverse, or it never happened, and then
Yeah,
that field would have kept
something
growing
like
and
that.
encompassed the earth.
something like that. So this is all kind of like the same. I don't know.
What if the
But that's what
field
I got.
did keep going and encompass the Earth, and we're living in the reality created by that?
Maybe we are. Maybe we're in hyperspace, bro.
Fuck.
Remember hyperspace, man? When you were a kid? Remember hyperspace?
Oh yeah, my
Wait,
favorite childhood
remember
pastime.
Really?
Hyperspace.
The place hyperspace.
No,
Wheels?
there's a place
Oh.
inside here.
What
Yeah.
the fuck is wrong with you, bro? It's like you didn't even grow up. Like you
well,
were just
no.
born with a beard and a blacksmith hammer.
I was born smoking a pipe, alcoholic.
Yep. Or
Born
maybe
smoking a cigarette.
that Philadelphia experiment brought me from somewhere.
Oh, that explains everything. Oh,
That's 2. You're really trying to get
My
me.
Mickey,
my,
look
my
up-
love for old things.
look up was it Vigilant? Vigilant Thor? What's his name?
Yeah,
Was it Vigilant? Was that his name?
I've forgotten now.
I'll look him up.
No, not right now. Don't
Okay, I'll
do.
look
Oh,
up-
Valiant.
Valiant Thor.
Look up
that's
Valiant Thor. It gets real weird. He talks about I have a picture of Valiant Thor.
Okay.
Apparently he was there, and he's from Venus, inside of Venus. But he resembles. They all resemble humans,
Okay.
but they're better looking and way smarter, and they didn't fall from grace like humanity on Earth.
Well,
That's
apparently
what
they're also a rock
Valiant
band.
Thor said. Yeah, probably based on this rumor
Yeah, of course.
of the Thors. There's like Jill Thor, Valiant, Fred.
Yeah, here it is. Valiant Thor from
Something
the
like
planet Venus.
Yeah. It's fucked up. Anyway, yeah, this
it's
guy gets
another
all
day.
real fucked up, but essentially it's kind of like the same thing you were saying. Teleportation, time travel, unintentional.
Yeah.
But nowhere does it mention Norfolk, which is weird because there's an eyewitness account in Norfolk of seeing a ship appear.
Yeah.
So who knows what to believe, right? Maybe it does say Norfolk somewhere in this massive fucking page of information that I didn't read all of.
Well, that's a huge document, though.
That is a huge document, but I read like probably 60% of it, came across nothing. What about you, Fresh? What'd you get?
So I was trying to like I said, I have a kind of emotional history with this particular conspiracy, and I wanted to have fun looking into it
Right.
because the first thing when you look this up, all you get is like debunk, and
Sure.
I'm like, okay, but like what was debunked? So I actually love how much you guys dug up, but
Let me bury it for you. No.
just the I don't know, man. Certain things of this, and like I'm anti conspiracy as a rule. Like normally I'm like, this is fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
And honestly, this one doesn't hold a lot of water, but it's just some of this shit gets me when they start tying things together. And then what you said about, because it sounds like fucking jibber jabber
Yeah.
until you get to the idea of basically how space-time is manipulated by light and also gravity, and how light is manipulated by gravity as well, and the way those things can interact and could actually not,
So
I don't know,
you're
necessarily
talking about.
cause time travel, but I don't know. We don't know. That's the thing.
So you're-
and I mean, I understand quantum physics way better than Mickey.
Yeah.
Enough to know that
For sure.
I don't know very much about it, but I do know that one of the principles is that things can be tied together across incomprehensibly vast differences, and can almost be said to exist in two different places at the same time. That's when it starts getting me, and I'm just like, okay, so could you actually cause something to fucking
Do that.
cause the particles, but then you'd also need to have them grouped together while they were doing that, because you can do a test to say like one particle out of your left ball is also in
Slick Smooth?
xylophone 9, off in the universe.
Okay.
That's not, but that doesn't mean anything because it's one particle, one fucking
Sure.
neutrino, right? A tiny fragment of existence. But then, like something like that, where the whole thing moved, I don't know. It fucking sticks with me more than everything else.
See, and again, like I'm just kidding.
More than fucking Bigfoot, that's for goddamn sure.
And I'm sorry for sounding like a broken record, but just again, when you're saying like particularly light bending and particles being in one place and some place at the same time, another movie reference. It keeps. But like I now just want to do so much research into figuring out when the writers made these things, did they do this research or did somebody come in and say, hey, maybe throw this in there just to. It's really fucking with me now.
Who knows, right? Okay, so a few things we missed too. By the way, this is not actually called the Philadelphia experiment. It's called Project Rainbow, as I'm assuming you found that. All right. Okay.
Rainbow Six.
I've
We
got my
mentioned-
own Project Rainbow.
Me and you.
It also involves sailors.
Oh my God.
And semen.
So we touched on Einstein. Sailors
Boo.
and seamen. Oh my fucking! I'm quit.
Good
I
thing you
fucking
find you
quit.
funny, Mickey.
Yeah, it's true.
I think I'm hilarious.
You are. Okay. Albert Einstein apparently was involved. By you saying that fresh, let's link it right now.
Yeah.
The unified field theory, or the theory of everything. So pretty much that electromagnetism and gravity are one and the same.
Or not one in the same,
Or affect
but
each other
intrinsically
equally.
connected.
Yes.
Like you cannot
Yeah.
separate them, which is not crazy.
No, it's not. It actually kind of makes a little bit of sense. I mean, if you think about it.
Which I struggle to because
Yeah, I mean, if you understand different types of magnetism, it's actually trippy. Like I've been researching magnetism, and there's like 3 types, right? There's diamagnetism, there is electromagnetism, and there's permanent magnetism. So electromagnetism is something that's powered to become it receives a charge and becomes magnetic.
Yep.
Permanent magnetism is just something that naturally has a magnetic field.
Right.
Diamagnetism is actually how can I explain this? It's not metal, but once it is brought to I think it's negative 100. It's called a superconductor.
Okay.
So you can achieve quantum locking and quantum levitation, which means that a piece of metal will be locked in at a frequency or a height, levitating over the superconductor if cooled to negative 100 degrees
and
using liquid nitrogen.
there's
That's
a-
diamagnetism.
There's a
Whoa.
conspiracy theory about the guy who owned the Coral Park.
Coral Park, who magnetized the rocks to make Stonehenge, baby.
Fucking right.
Using, yeah.
But it was just him. It was just him, though.
Coral
That was
Park.
the thing. Coral Park. Because
Yeah.
the guy, he said, I'm going to load up these stones, but you guys can't be here. And everybody left. And then, like, in half an hour, they came back, and these stones were stacked ready to go. He's like, there's no way.
So the
fuck is
theory of
going
Coral
on?
Park is this guy replicated Stonehenge, stating he could build a primitive magnetic crane, which would hoist this by himself, hoist the stones up upright in a position using a series of pulleys and magnetizing the rock itself.
That weighed tons. Like,
the
legitimate,
same size.
measurable
He
tons.
got all this shit. I have a whole file on it. It's crazy. You can actually, I did a lot of research back in the day on that. You can actually magnetize wood if you wanted.
Yeah. I've always thought
Okay.
about
That's
stuff
why
like that.
this is all fucked
That's
up.
diamagnetism.
Yeah.
All right, I understand.
Diamagnetism, that's not diamagnetism, is it? No, that's electromagnetism. That's not diamagnetism. Diamagnetism is when it has its own repelling force. It's actually a repelling force of a naturally occurring repelling magnetic force from a superconductor, but it has to be under the right conditions.
That's
That's
diamagnetism.
diamagnetism. It's involved in quantum levitation.
Yes.
Which is like mag trains, maglev.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah. Whew. Okay, so we got magnetism. Magnetism on its own is trippy. You talk about like motors and Tesla. Tesla did tons of work on electromagnetism.
Is the bullet train.
That's electromagnetism. That would be a maglev train.
maglev.
Yeah.
That means so when you have quantum levitation and quantum locking,
Yep.
you can cause endless motion because there is zero friction.
Yeah. I've seen experiments on that.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's pretty cool.
I gotta be honest, I'm fucking slipping here. Because I was just trying to keep up with like the unified field theory. So unified
Okay.
and the reason unified field theory isn't fucking nuts, first of all, is because tons of brilliant minds have worked on it. So it's a reasonable proposition. Second of all, it's because once upon a time, and not all that long ago, electro and magnetism were not one thing.
Yeah.
And then Faraday came around and he was like, "Oh,
Hey.
look at this! They work together. Boom, we're done. Good.
Yeah.
Now we can have porn on our phones."
Yay.
Woo!
Masturbating in public transit.
Loneliness is gone.
Masturbating on maglev trains.
Oh,
Meta. Oh my god.
oh my god. All right.
No, so like the idea that you can continue to group these principles together, especially these gigantic principles that seem to apply every which way that we understand the world or
Yep.
the universe rather. That's like that. I'm cool with that. But what I don't get about unified field theory is, I guess, all the rest of it. Like,
The unexplained.
well, the unexplained, but also all the elements that make it up, like all the different forces, right? Because
Isn't there just there's like four or five?
there's four forces, which are strong interaction, weak interaction,
Right.
electromagnetism,
Right.
and gravity.
Right.
So, like the fact that those four things are what more or less run the universe, that makes a good amount of sense to me.
Sure.
I'm cool
Okay.
with that. But I just don't know like where it goes from there. Like, how are these things forever tied together? Why do they necessarily have to operate together? And if they do, how can manipulation of one give you the result you want from the others? I just don't understand physics that well. And
Yeah.
obviously nobody does because
No,
it's
that's-
unified field theory
No.
has not been proved.
Yes, it hasn't. It's probably won't be for a while, but yeah, it's very interesting.
Oh no! From what I understand, particularly with gravity and the quantum levitation, it's
Wait,
all
you
about. A lot of it is about, like you said, vibrations, though. Because
Yeah, frequency's huge.
frequency and your vibrations, you can pretty much move anything of any size.
Yes.
That's string theory, though.
Yeah, that's.
That's
But
very
see, this
string
is
theory,
isn't this like weird how it's all kind of coming back?
Yeah, but string theory's been disproved.
Yeah.
There's your quantum levitation, real quick, though.
Yeah, that's quantum zero friction.
Yeah,
it's
it's
frictionless levitation.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It
So it
is so
locks
cool.
it in. So you are, if you push your object down, it'll bounce back up to the frequency it's locked into, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, this is how they're going to make that hyperloop, and then you pair that with a vacuum sealed, so you're taking away the friction it's hitting with the air particles.
Yeah.
And they're saying they can make that hyperloop thing that Musk is doing 750 miles an hour, get you coast to coast 30 minutes. And they
but the fucking crazy thing about that is going to be how do you ride it and not die? You're going to spend actually most of that time decelerating.
Well, a big part of
safely.
A big part of a lot of that movement, because they have the bullet trains right now. They're doing what, 200, 300 miles an hour? Something stupid. You don't feel it.
It's theory of relativity. You move as fast as the craft that you're traveling on moves. Plus, you're in a vacuum sealed tube.
That's
so
why the deceleration is important, because you can't just hit the brakes.
Oh, no, because then you fucking fly. Yeah. No, you're going to have to slow it down. There's going to be sections, right? Like you go 100, like, 300. You know. So you're not doing... Like, so you've experienced high G-force.
Like, what was her name? Fucking Beverly in Black Summer.
Oh, yeah. Straight through the fucking windshield.
Fuck that old bitch.
By the way, I don't even know if I'm using the reference of theory of relativity right, but I just understand that generally sums up that you're relative to where you are in time and space, right? So if you're in a craft, your movements...
I think Einstein would just be proud that we're
You
trying.
actually used it right, but you clearly have no
I clearly
idea.
have... I'm not a physics major here, man. Like, this is just fucking...
But like I said, I think on the whole, Einstein would be happy that we're trying.
Yeah. Okay, so unified field theory, or the theory of everything, pretty much like it's trying to incorporate away the magical forces holding things together.
It's trying to more or less give... Yes, it's trying to more or less give you a formula that can be applied to everything.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
And once you have this formula, when you have X, you will always be able to get Y, which
So
just
it's a constant.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a constant.
It's a physics
universal constant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and this is what's fucking crazy about unified field theory, is it would have to incorporate general relativity, quantum physics, and Newtonian physics, which are covered by general relativity, but also it doesn't quite work the same because, like, the same principles are at work in space and when you're moving at the speed of light and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously those don't... They do apply to us, but they're not how we work because we don't move at those fucking speeds.
Right.
Right? So there's yet another level.
Yeah, and plus you got to talk about... You want to talk about space and time and light.
Space
light
scientist.
traveling through space. They don't even know what space is. Like the dark matter...
Right.
The matter that surrounds planets. They don't know what that is. That's just space. That's why it's called fucking space, because they have no fucking clue what the fuck that they have no idea. Because you
That's
got
fucking
air.
crazy to
you got
think you can
molecules,
look out
right?
and see dark matter. But it has to be something
because it's there.
because it's there.
And we're in it, right? So this is how what's Einstein's thing? I guess it would be theory of I think it's where he does the blanket or the tablecloth. Does the gravitational with the fruit. You ever see that?
No.
Oh, I watched this movie. It was pretty dope. I guess he was over at dinner and he was explaining the theory he was working. What the fuck is that? What's the theory when he discovers like that planets sink into space and that's what causes the shit to come toward it? Gravity density
waves.
Or whatever, or something like that.
Well, that would be general relativity.
That's general relativity.
Because
Thank you.
Special relativity came first,
Right.
and it explained some things, but it didn't account for gravity. I hope I'm remembering that right.
I think you're right. So general relativity, he takes a fucking tablecloth at a dinner party, apparently, and he puts the biggest fruit in the center, and then he takes like an apple and he spins it, and it goes around like a couple times before it falls to the thing. But he says that is why we circle the sun, because it is the heaviest, most dense object. It is actually weighing whatever space is made of down, causing things to be attracted to it to a degree, and then cycle.
I need to gain weight because apparently I'm not heavy enough for people to find any sort of attraction to me.
Yeah, me too. Maybe that's my issue. Maybe I should start weightlifting again.
Oh, you done.
So that right there is a fucking mind bender, right? So you're talking about actual weight in space on dark matter. We'll just call it dark matter because we have no fucking idea what it is. And that's pretty much gravity. So larger things attract smaller things and bring them to the center of it.
But space-time warps.
Yeah, it
with
warps
gravity.
it. Warps with gravity, right?
Just-
Causing things to be the denser.
You know what's fucked up? That sounds like some crazy fucking stoner shit, but that's one of the things we actually know.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. Not a lot of people fucking
nutty,
even
yo.
when I talk about this
like
shit.
to say that sounds like we're
Fucking
talking
crazy.
about the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
no, that's the real one.
Right? That actually is a thing. But what he's trying to prove, I think, is to unify electromagnetism because planets have magnetic poles. They have a magnetic field and gravity, right? So there's got to be a reason about this pole, right? And I think that's where he gets involved with magnetism and gravity kind of being unified. Yeah. So he's saying that something in space has density, but also has a pole, right? So if you alter a pole, you alter the density. I don't even fucking know.
Well, it's you alter the dynamics of the whole thing.
Yeah.
What was it that came out like it was like 3 or 4 years ago? Something about the effect of gravity on cosmic radiation that they measured. It was something fucking nutty because the thing about cosmic radiation, like red light shift, is by that we are actually able to draw our conclusions about the Big Bang.
Right. Okay.
So we won't always be able to measure that because red light shift is actually accelerating.
Right.
But and this is one of those fucking crazy quagmires because it's like, well, everything we know, like Newtonian, gravity would cause it to decelerate.
Yes.
It would pull it back.
Right. Yeah. Right to
but
the
it doesn't.
center of
It's
the
actually
universe.
going faster.
Right.
So eventually, all of this red light will be gone.
Right.
And we won't be able to measure the beginning of the universe anymore.
Right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fucked
right.
up, man. Like it's really fucked up.
Oh my god, fuck! I didn't think this is where this was going.
Yeah. See, goes down a whole. I guess what I want to try to prove, not even prove, but just talk about is if this could have actually happened, and from what I'm seeing, and I am no fucking smart person, but maybe this could have.
Again, there's a fucking screaming skeptic inside me, but then I just think for some reason this doesn't sound like the stupidest thing in the world. Like the actual accounts of it sound shady as fuck. Like, oh, you time traveled and you went you went somewhere else and then someone else saw you and there was some fucking party and then also we didn't even talk about the aliens, the disappearing sailors.
Oh yeah, there are definitely faults or some fucking crazy shit.
Or the actual ship's logs of the Eldridge from 1943, from when it then saw service. And it just looks like a regular ass boat.
Yeah, it's just a regular ass boat.
Regular ass boat with people trapped in the fucking
In the
steel.
hull. They're fucking dead.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many crazy elements to the fucking thing, but it just, I don't know, something about it. Maybe it's all the science jargon. Maybe that's just me not understanding enough.
Well,
Okay. Oh.
I could take it a little bit dark. Kind of see
Let's,
where some possible cover-ups.
Let's get dark then.
Okay. One of the other people that I found kind of tangled up in this conspiracy was the Jessup gentleman, Morris K. Jessup.
Okay.
So he was kind of an interesting individual. He had a master's of science in astronomy, which, as far as which from what I found, that makes him an astronaut.
Oh, all right.
Because they're like, oh, he's a blah blah astronaut. I'm going, what? What? Anyways, but he worked most of his life as an automobile parts salesman. Very kind of humble guy.
Or crazy.
Or crazy. But he also is pretty well known for doing UFO books. He actually wrote 4.
That's what I heard.
So he, if I'm not mistaken, Alan reached out to him. Like, I have my story. I want it out there. And right
Who's Alan?
This is Carl Allen. Excuse me.
Right. Okay.
Or Carlos Miguel. And how do you pronounce his last name?
Allende.
So the guy who's seen the ship appear and then disappear in Virginia.
So he almost immediately dismissed him. He's like, no, you don't. I don't believe you, bud. But they kept kind of with correspondence, and then he started going, oh, okay, maybe there's something here to this. So as from what Morris said, Carl Allen had no evidence or proof to support his claims at the time. But you showed in that one later that he did. But he was, again, still intrigued. So he met with him, and they talked about who knows. And the reason we don't know is because Morris K. Jessup died of an apparent suicide.
That's convenient.
So
Why it's just like the Kurt Cobain thing all over again.
So now they try to cover it up. Reading into it, he did not do very well, apparently, after meeting up with this gentleman, because he's like, "Oh, I have these book ideas. I want to get them published." And he was just turned down after turned down. And usually, it seems after you're turned down by one big publisher,
right,
they all start talking, go, don't publish this guy.
They blackball you.
So they're essentially what they try to say was he got down on hard times and committed suicide because apparently he went bankrupt. But I found he tried to meet up with another gentleman that was kind of in the military to talk about it. The next day he died of an apparent suicide.
Do you know that gentleman's name? Was it Big Al?
It may have been. Like, I'm such a
probably Big Al
dumbass for not writing it down. Like, I'm reading it, I'm going, oh, this is real interesting. Oh, better close my fucking book and go home. God damn it, fucking Mickey. I'm sorry. But anyways, so right off the bat, when it said like, oh, he came on hard times and he killed himself, like, oh, okay, well, maybe. And then, but like we do with our conspiracy theories, we just keep digging and digging and trying to find out more. And then when I found that he tried to meet with somebody and then killed himself, like, that's just weird. Like, people don't just do that. Hey, let's meet up and then talk about this. Forget it, I'm just going to kill myself. And the way they did it, or sorry, supposedly he did it. Jumping the gun on that one.
Yeah.
Was carbon monoxide in his car. Just put the tube in and went to sleep. So, possible cover up by the government.
Maybe.
And
No.
They don't do that. America. So that is a little bit of the dark. So somebody who was involved with it had turned up dead.
I'm glad you touched on Jessup there, because I didn't do a lot of research on him.
Yeah.
So,
well, and sadly, there wasn't much to go on.
No, there wasn't.
Because it's just it was dismissed as a nut because himself, he was a ufologist. I believe that's how it's pronounced.
Ufologist, yeah.
Because UFOologist just sounds stupid.
It does.
But yeah, I had such a hard time. Well, again, the first stuff was easy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was everywhere. Oh, he's an idiot. He's crazy. He killed himself because he was poor and blah blah blah. That was in an abundance.
Right.
It took me hours to find. Oh wait, he actually tried to meet up with somebody from the military and then turned up dead.
Right. And you know what is like what I was saying in our last episode when I was talking about 411, Mr. 411, about that one case in the movie about the guy who survived it, but you couldn't find anything on the internet. But it's just weird. Anyway.
Yeah, but like, okay, so what does that mean? So
I don't know.
Did that dude even live? Like, was that ever even a real person?
Apparently, it was a real person. I don't know if it actually was, but yeah, he was in the movie interviewed. Like, it was more of a documentary movie than a movie.
Mickey, did you see how this fucking dude supposedly killed himself?
Morris?
Yeah.
Yeah, with carbon monoxide from his car.
He just pulled over on the side of the highway. That's so shady.
Right?
Like, that's the sort of shit, like... So normally, like, you hear the story, you're like, it's fucking bullshit, a bunch of crackpots. And then you hear that, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Pay a guy $10,000 to shoot him at a gas station, because at least that's believable. Like, robbery went wrong.
Something. And that's one thing where, like, people give such credence to the, the government does do this. You're like, fuck, they're sloppy sometimes. Christ almighty.
Yeah.
It's
and especially back then, though, right? Because the internet didn't exist then.
Well, and that's it. So, like, geez, where was he on his way to? Was he on the way to meet this guy?
Yeah.
And they just pulled him over and said,
"Who fucking knows?
We're going to do this." Because usually, and I'm just going to talk out my ass here now. If you're really going to kill yourself with carbon monoxide poisoning, you're going to do it in your fucking home, in your garage, and no one will find you for weeks.
Yeah.
The thing is, that's kind of hard to do on the side of the road.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you would need to somehow pipe it in. Like, I prepared for just such an occasion.
There's the spot. Better pull over.
I was ready for suicide at a moment's notice.
And on the highway, people are going like,
Same.
Gee, I wonder what that guy's doing. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, someone might kind of pull over and go, "Whoa, what is happening
Hold on
here?"
there, bud. That's not safe.
Well, and especially back in that time too, it just seemed everybody pulled over for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, it's all fishy. I mean, everything from the story itself to the actual science behind it. I mean, not that the science is. I mean, I guess it's fishy because it's unproven, but
Well, the science the science of itself is just more so today us trying to understand what they possibly did then.
so.
And well, like you said with the guy traveling in time in the 80s, if they had perfected that level of technology then, such as the time travel supposedly, why not have just like a fraction of that back in the 40s? You know what I mean? You'd have to have something then to have what we have now. It doesn't just go, oh look, we just did it. We're fucking awesome.
No, the story makes sense as this Al dude tells it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just fishy in the way that something like Fresh has said a million times. It just grabs me. Like maybe that is possible because it's not like even the conspiracy people are saying that's what they tried to do. It's just that's what happened when they were trying to do something else, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many if, ands, or buts and so many weird fucking coincidences, including Einstein's fucking theory of everything and how he was involved in it.
Yeah.
Like, who knows, man? Like, that's fucking crazy.
And like they're saying how like people or some people have dismissed like no, he wasn't involved. But again, like you said, like with certain things they kind of knew what was going on and kind of got the gist of it. So it's more so like, oh hey, we're trying to figure this out. What we do here? Oh, I would do this. Just kind of like objectively. Oh, okay, thanks. And then off they go to try out the experience. Oh no, you know what? We kind of looked it over. It didn't seem to make sense. What about this now? If this happened? Oh, okay. So maybe not directly involved, but his brain may have been
there.
Part of it. Yeah.
On Reddit, somebody said some sailor apparently got stuck in the hull and some men reappeared as half man, half pig. And another guy goes, one sailor reappeared as half man, half bear, half pig.
Oh, fuck.
Super cereal, though, guys. Super cereal. Man, bear, pig.
Man, bear, pig.
I'm scared. I'm scared of man, bear, pig.
So, all in all,
what do we think of this fucking clusterfuck, boys? I don't know, man.
Well, I share Fresh's skepticism with a lot of this stuff, but I think my imagination runs a lot more wild in the sense of I want to believe it. So I have to pace myself with some of these things. It's just because it's one of those things where the way they play it out, it's like it's got to be true, and then you just take a step back and go, well, maybe not. I'm kind of poke holes in it, but it's just like we do. We dig more. We get into this rabbit hole, and we go, fuck. There's just no way this is just an accident or it never happened. There's way too much now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I look at everything with the same kind of logic. Okay, what is the evidence for it?
Okay.
And then you look at the credibility of the person positing the claim. And then if you need to make any counterpoints, you can. It's usually the lack of evidence is enough to dismiss it out. Hey, you don't have to waste your time on it. But this one, you look at it and you dismiss it. You're just like, this is fucking stupid. And then, like I said, I just wanted to have fun with it. So I started looking at more stuff and I was like, this is starting to make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man.
And then when we find that there was some backpedaling on the government side, there was a claim. They denied it, and then later they said, well, kind of, but no.
No, but that's just textbook government.
Yeah, but still, though. But that's what I mean, though. There's a slip-up to the point, and now there's more questions. Because, like, you said no. Why did you change your mind? Yeah. Why is it now? Well, we kind of did a little bit of that. What do you mean you kind of did a little bit of that? How much of what we said was true?
Yeah.
And how much of it was wrong? That's all we're going to say today. Have a nice day. Like what the fuck?
I saw one thing that said that even for the whole teleportation thing, there was actually a channel going from Philadelphia to New York that was kind of hidden.
Yeah, I read that too.
Basically, just to guard against the U-boat threat.
Okay.
And I mean, anyone who had a working knowledge of geography could understand this, but it was just sort of like somewhat inland, so it wasn't understood to be a shipping lane.
Sure.
So you could have quickly gotten there and back. Now, not in 10 minutes. It would be like in a few hours and a few hours. but still, like some, that's all it takes is some guy going, "Oh man, it was there and then it was gone."
Fucking gone, and I was also fucking wasted.
Yeah, but and then though for the paperwork to say that it wasn't in commission yet, but that doesn't mean you weren't testing.
But there is, and then I found a part on that, actually, the commissioning on that guy's thing. He's got where's that fucking piece of paper right here? This is the U.S. Eldridge log.
Okay.
October. What date does that say?
28.
18.
19. It's hard to make
It's 43.
out, I see a 3.
It's
the,
a 40.
The 4 is kind of hard to make out.
It's right here.
Yeah.
19. 4.
Oh, wait.
Or wait.
No. Over here.
Let's zoom in.
28 October
1943.
Quite 4.
1943.
Yeah, it's quite the looking
Yeah, but
for.
that's definitely a 4.
Yeah.
So that's the official log of it. So that proves, I mean, if that is actually the log of it, it looks legit. It proves that anchored as before. I can't even read this fucking guy's writing.
The handwriting's
Holy
pretty
shit.
scribbly there.
Either way, so it was in the water. It was anchored in the water on the 28th.
Testing.
Boom.
Yeah.
So, if that's legit. So, whatever. My point, I got 2 points to make on this one about my thoughts on this entire conspiracy. One, this one intrigues me because usually there's a bunch of constants in conspiracy theories. And this one has so many fucking holes that it's easy to dismiss. But the backing of what it potentially could be is very possible. Do you know what I mean? Like this, I believe, me personally, from what I've seen or whatever,
Gleaned.
what I think, I lean toward that this could possibly happen. So we can touch base on like a constant, like on 9/11. If you watch all the fucking footage on YouTube of the shit they don't show you twice in the news, there's tons of eyewitness accounts say it was an all gray plane. It was a dual engine, all gray plane. Looked like a 747. No stickers. Not a commercial airliner. Like there are so many people who say this. It's fucking crazy. Like, everybody's reporting the same thing. But this is different because it wasn't planes flying into a building, which we clearly saw, right? This is all the realm of science fiction.
Yeah.
Right? So the holes kind of let you think out of the box, which is weird. So this is a weird conspiracy theory in general.
Yeah.
So I was just comparing two big ones. Anyway, so but what makes me believe it through these holes is the fact that the main point, Einstein's theory, is still not proven. And in 43, he definitely wasn't even, I don't even know if he was fucking making it at that time. Maybe this triggered him to do it. I don't know when that theory dates.
No, he'd been working on unified.
Yeah,
code
okay.
forever.
So he's been working on this shit.
But Einstein also didn't really believe in quantum.
No,
he
I know.
didn't like it.
He didn't like it.
It fucked with him,
Yeah.
which it fucks with anyone
Who goes that deep
starts
into
reading it.
Well, you don't even have to go deep. just look at lights, waves, and particles, and just be
like,
done.
Fuck, I'm done. I'm so tired. Anyway, so the science behind it is still unproven, which still means that it's possible to a degree.
Yeah,
Right?
It's if it's not proven, it doesn't mean it's disproven.
Exactly.
you're
So it's possible. So let's look at like another conspiracy just to compare: technology suppression. I think that is a very real thing.
Absolutely.
See, that one seems like way more reasonable to me because it's just like rich people want to stay rich.
Okay, so what's the ultimate technology? Time
Unlimited-
travel, teleportation, invisibility. I mean, think about it.
I'd say the pinnacle of technology is unlimited free energy.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I'm talking high up tech. I'm not talking like a fucking, Coke can that opens itself or some shit. I'm talking like like the staples of science fiction,
Have you
like
seen
things that. No,
Have you
it's
seen
true.
a Coke can that opens
No, I
itself?
haven't, man. We should.
How do you know that's not the pinnacle?
That is the pinnacle, motherfucker. I'm sorry.
Imagine we do that, and then aliens come in. You've done it.
So okay, the
You
pinnacle.
found it.
You found the pinnacle of energy. No, so okay, we're in agreement that pretty much free, unlimited energy is the pinnacle of technology. But things that are high up there: invisibility,
Sure.
time travel, teleportation,
Okay.
wormholes, all that kind of shit, light speed,
Space
blah blah
bending.
blah blah blah. They're all in the plane right below unlimited energy,
Sure.
right? And
Well, we
happiness.
can't have that until we have unlimited. And that's something I've actually read where it's
Yeah.
like we can't. These supposed technologies can't exist without limitless energy.
Right.
But
right,
I remember,
right.
but then there's like the counter on that is like you can't have limitless energy for other
Without
reasons.
these.
Yeah, it's like a chicken or the egg, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know, that's what
Anyway,
I'd
so
say.
technology suppression is very much for consumers to keep. It's like tools. Like we were just discussing earlier today, the brushless motor and tool, right? And the similarities between that and Tesla Tower and just electromagnetism in general. Why is it only now in the last 5 to 7 years that, because I'm in construction, right?
Sure.
Brushless motors have just fucking blew up because
Yeah.
there's no friction, so your motor lasts way longer, your battery life lasts way longer.
Okay, but you're
you know,
talking about
resisting forces.
you're talking about planned obsolescence and technology suppression,
Yes.
which are similar but not the same
No,
thing.
I know that. I know. I'm getting to the point. So that's like consumer based technology suppression. So you always pay more for the better product, the next product,
Yeah.
computer, Bluetooth
that may
compatible, blah, blah, blah.
that-
So think about that
Okay.
on a grand scale of technology, like real technology. If this actually did happen, they're going to fucking make it look as sloppy and as ridiculous as possible. They're going to try to cut, they're going to make this look like science fiction, right? You don't think that they're going to actually intentionally make this look like it's all just a joke? Everyone's
I've
crazy.
said this
Yeah.
up teen times.
Yeah, no, I know. I know you have. So, but you were stating more so movies, how they incorporate it in pop culture
just
to
to-
make it feel that
Yes, because
much more sci-fi.
Because I just, for me, just personally, the
Yeah.
general populace just eats this shit up and goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, man. So I
don't think
just,
about it.
It's just weird to me that the science backing this shit's unfinished. That there were great minds involved in this experiment, and if it was,
Supposedly.
if Einstein was involved, if he was, why was he involved in invisibility for minds?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Why did you bring Einstein in for degaussing or whatever? If you've done it already, if you know
Yeah.
the process, you don't bring Albert fucking Einstein to put a couple cords around your hull and demagnetize it. So
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I'm like in the air, but I honestly think it might be possible that it happened. I don't know, man. I just something in my gut tells me that it could honestly be possible that actually happened once and never again. Or who knows? After that happened, it probably happened
Well,
a bunch of other times.
How many experiments did they have with the atomic bomb before we saw footage of the atomic bomb?
I think
being
there's only
tested?
one. Was there like 2, 3? There was like
Well, there were
low.
lots of experiments, but there weren't a lot of live nuclear
No, I'm talking
bomb
tests.
Not
Tests.
many.
Yeah, there's probably like 2 or 3. Anyway,
for tests,
yeah, my
tests,
final,
tests.
I don't know. My final thoughts on this thing is it's all a bunch of big fuck show.
Bunch of big fuck show.
Yeah, a bunch
Perfect.
of bullshit. Man, slick math.
Slick math.
Slick math. But
science.
no,
Slick science.
I don't know, man. It is like you said, like it's fucking weird. Just gives me a weird feeling in my gut.
Yeah.
Draws me in more so to that it is true than it's false. I don't know why.
What's a conspiracy that you guys want to be true? I know we said before, like, what's something you really believe, but like, what's one you just really want to be true?
Flat Earth.
Oh my goodness.
Honestly, you go.
For me, my mind just immediately goes to aliens. Oh God, I want that so bad. I really do. I want there to have been, or still is, 13 species of aliens on the planet right now, and we're intermingling with them, and we don't know it, but the government knows it, and it's all part of this bigger plan that I don't know what it is. Aliens, man.
Here come
What are yours?
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's a guy at work, Elmo, who he is like 100%, and this is like very reasonable. He's not like us. And I asked him because I said we were talking about conspiracy theories. I said, "Oh man, are there any conspiracy theories you believe?" And he said Roswell. Like I barely finished the question. He's like Roswell for sure.
Yeah.
He's like something definitely.
Are you
happened.
asking me ones I believe or want to believe?
No. Right now, I'm asking you that. But last week, remember last time I asked,
Yeah.
what do you? And that was what he said.
Yeah, no,
Said
that's a good
the
answer.
aliens. He's just like, no, it's for sure.
Battle Los Angeles.
Fucking Battle of Los
That
Angeles.
definitely happened. But if I want one to be real,
Yeah.
like out of just honestly, technology suppression would probably cover most of it.
Because then that would allow other things to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't want that to be real, man. Because that
Well, I
means
want it
it's
to
just-
be real for truth. Like I
Right.
just have
Oh,
a
right.
fucking
I see.
hard time. Like if we actually went, here's one: the moon. We didn't even talk about that one. But let's say,
And we will not.
no, we won't until right now. Let's say if we did go to the moon,
Sit down, you.
do you believe that we went to the moon? Real
Yes.
quick. Do you
Yes.
believe
Yes.
that we went to the moon?
Yes.
Then why the fuck have we not been back to the moon since the 60s?
Because it's dangerous and there's no reason to.
But if we've only been there like what, once?
No, we've been there
Twice?
quite a few
How
times.
many
haven't we?
times? There's like 3 times? How
thought
many
it was like-
times?
I
I
thought it was
honestly
7.
don't know.
I don't know on the
Seven?
top of my head.
I thought it was
but-
7 times.
I don't think
Well, 'cause
7
I don't
times
think it was
justifies
seven,
with the
bro.
technology.
From my understanding of it is, one, it's dangerous as fuck. First of all,
Yeah.
Why is it dangerous? Why are we going to Mars then?
we're not
We
sending
aren't-
people yet.
Yes,
though.
we are.
Not yet though.
Dude, they're going to Mars like in before
What
2025.
they want
First
to
of all-
doesn't mean they're going to.
Ass penis.
Oh, they are.
They have a plan, and the only reason this fucking popped up on my news feed, and I know it, is because they want to send a woman, to the moon.
Yeah.
So I think they said 2020.
Okay.
So they are going again.
But just for
Finally.
political reasons. I'm sorry. I don't even want to get on that.
No, I don't want you to get on that either because it makes me mad.
Well, I don't want. No, I don't want to get into that because, like, what the fuck's the point? Let's send a woman to the moon. Okay, go fucking. I don't give a shit. Go ahead.
My point is that you have insane technology development, and you just have NASA, who's just kind of there, and they just like, okay, if Musk can do
I
all
think
the
you
shit
are
that he did.
severely underestimating NASA.
No, I'm not. NASA is a government-funded space agency, but then you have one billionaire who can just create reusable rockets, and NASA couldn't do
but-
fuck all for years and years and years, and kept using the same
NASA
shitty
did tons for
They've
years
done-
and years
No,
and
I know
years.
they've done tons, but on the grand
You
scheme,
just-
I'm talking a billionaire compared to a government, United States government-funded organization dealing with space travel.
Hold on.
First of all, Elon Musk had all of NASA's work. He had the
Yes.
shoulders of those giants to stand on.
I know.
Nazi
Plus,
scientists.
he was also the dickhead that he was, as you outlined in our Great People episode,
Yeah.
to say, all right, do this, but do it for fucking cheap, which is something you can engineer after the fact.
So here's also something where you see you have someone who's contracted versus people who just want to do it.
Yes.
The Wright brothers, when they were making their designs and building their prototypes, the government got involved. Like, oh fuck, we need to do this first, and they paid a guy to do just everything that they were doing.
Yeah.
And he failed. He failed
Yeah.
tremendously, and then they did it. So just the tenacity alone could be what pushes us forward technologically.
I just don't believe for 1 second, based on human history and the lust for exploration, that someone can seriously sit there, look me in the face, and just tell me they just kept flying spaceships into orbit, and that's what they did for 20 years.
Why?
Launching
Well, I don't-
satellites.
well-
Why the fuck would you not want to aim higher than that?
I can
For
I can,
space.
I can answer that, and it may sound funny, but I'm serious. They're fucking hourly. Take your
No.
fucking time.
Because people...
Mickey,
no,
no,
Mickey,
shut
know.
the fuck
I am
up.
100%
No,
on
shut
that.
the fuck up.
No, I will
because
stand
you
by
think
that.
like a grunt.
How?
You
Because
think
NASA's
like a
not-
grunt. You don't think bigger picture. That's the
NASA's
problem.
not filled with people like me and you who are like, yeah, this is hourly. We better just fuck off with this equation. These are
Yeah,
people
no,
who
that's
love
not
this
how that
shit
works.
still too. Elon
Yeah,
Musk
they
just
live and
wanted to
breathe
do
it.
it by himself in a different way,
Yeah.
right? He wanted his own thing. Kind of
Yeah.
like I could go work for a construction company, but I don't want to do that. I want my own construction company. I want to do things my own way.
Wasn't he just not happy with the way they were going to bed? Like, no, we need to do this better. We
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
Also,
Okay.
let's be fucking clear here. Elon Musk is a super genius. Like we're not
Yeah.
talking about
Fair
just
enough.
some
Yeah, that's
goddamn
true.
dude.
I mean,
true,
it
yeah.
wasn't only him. There were other people
Yeah,
involved. But
for
there's,
sure.
But my point is that space, literally, in Star Trek and in our world, is the final frontier. Okay, like that's where we go now. Pretty much, we've almost explored all the land on Earth. The ocean's a different story. We're not even gonna talk about that because whatever. But that's where you're going, man. People are obsessed with flight. Humans are obsessed with flying.
Yeah.
So why would you not be obsessed with exploring space?
One,
So as long as the government controlled these industries, Neil Tyson takes all this on, bro. As long as the government
Cool.
control, I'll fucking punch you in the dick with my mouth. As long
better
as the
punch.
government controlled all these industries, which they should be controlled by the government because it's the sort of things that you want oversight on, especially for that amount of dollars. I'm not saying Elon Musk shouldn't do what he's doing, but for a time there was only one way to get it
Yeah,
done,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that was
yeah.
by government. there wasn't a point after the Cold War. There was nothing else to win.
But
There was just dollars to make. There were just dollars to make, which is what they did. They sent lots and lots of communication satellites, and then they built the space station, which was an international project.
yeah,
And
that's cool.
that was exploration such as it was.
This is bullshit.
Why is it fucking bullshit?
Because it's like science. No, it's bullshit to me, bro. That is minuscule bullshit. You can do it over and over and over and over and over and over again.
You don't understand how hard it is to do.
Well, it can't be that hard if Elon Musk did it.
My goodness.
Elon Musk
Has billions of dollars and is a super genius. I understand.
has $1 billion, is a super genius, and is following people who have already done it.
Yeah, in 2019. The space NASA's been around for what? When were they established? Like 60 something, maybe even late 50s.
It was concurrent with the Cold War.
Okay. I just don't believe at all that's what they did. That's where they stopped. They just said, "Yeah, here's Discovery, and it's gonna fly up and drop some shit off, and then come back." Like, I think that's the public. That's how we know space. I think there's other shit. I think there's bigger shit.
I
going
wouldn't
on
be
in space.
surprised if there's other shit, but to say that NASA's just been fucking the dog for 20
I don't
years
think
is
NASA.
ridiculous.
No, I'm not saying that they're fucking the dog. I'm saying NASA's a front for the actual real the Space Force, bro.
Here, I will
The
say this
Space
though.
Force. It's all about.
I'll say this
Man.
though. NASA's they decided their 2019 budget is 21.5 billion.
And what was it before?
Uh,
Wasn't it only
That's
like
not
10
a
billion?
lot of
No,
money.
it's not a lot of
that's what I
money.
mean. The military's budget request for this year is 639 billion.
So where do you think the actual spacecrafts are being built, bro? That's what I'm saying. Why do you need $630 billion a year if you're not building fucking spaceships?
Because they have a standing army in
Yeah.
half the countries of the world.
Yeah, I know that. Plus spaceships.
Jesus Christ.
Why are they coming out saying they need a space force? Blah blah blah. It's called integration into
Well,
population.
Trump's a fucking moron.
Trump's
That was
also-
before Trump. That was during Obama. Obama
You're right.
also said
It
that.
was
Well,
talked
it's
about.
to get people
It's-
used to the fact that there is going to be space warfare.
This goes all the way back to fucking the Cold War, even when they're like, we need lasers in space so we can hit them from up there and they can't touch us down here.
This
sort of
goes
thing.
back to when you're
So-
making the first sci-fi movie ever. People have always wondered what's out there, so it's hard for me to believe that NASA's all they got. NASA's all we got is bullshit. That's just where I'm gonna stay.
Well-
I think it's a public front to keep the public
No,
satisfied.
I can agree with that because what we have the military, then we have what the FBI,
They-
CIA, Homeland Security.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
have all that
why do we
shit.
have all these levels of things in just NASA? So I'll live with you on that one.
NASA's like
Because people don't
school.
care.
What do you mean people don't?
I
what?
think you're severely wrong. I think the people that have the money and actually know more shit than all of us three, because there's way more shit to know about space than we know, care a lot.
I got it all.
He's got it all, bro.
we should call Elon Musk. Yeah. Do we got the Fresh got everything for you,
got
bud.
it.
Yeah,
I got it.
he's got it's fresh.
Or he
Fresh
goes-
Montana. You never heard of
Or he
him?
goes, yeah, I know. How do you think I've been doing all this time?
No, he'll just go, oh, thank God.
Finally, I've been waiting for him. Anyway, public front. I think there's a lot more space exploration
fucking
going on than
nonsense.
really. You honestly think that?
I
Bro, people-
I would
people
not
who
at
had-
any point be surprised to find out a government or a government institution was lying about anything.
Yeah.
I do not think that you can thereby throw a giant fucking blanket over the whole thing and say, this is bullshit, which I know is your line.
No, it's not. I'm not throwing a blanket. NASA exists. NASA does important work. NASA does things.
NASA does
but NASA's
public
a
work.
public front to keep the public satisfied with space exploration. The real shit, the wormholes, the hyperdrives, all this shit, all the good shit is being done by the military.
that or private industries.
Or
I
well,
ju-
now
I-
it's private.
Well, because
industries.
no, I mean even government funded but private sales. Like so, we have these companies that do technology and they go, oh hey, here's a little bit of government money, do more and keep us up to date, sort of thing.
Do you know why the military budget is so high?
Because you said there's a lot of them. In a lot
Because
of
they have
countries.
an insane amount of operations for absolutely no real reason. And they have actually fucked themselves out of public oversight. So a lot of military dollars, for example, were used through the 90s and early 2000s in the Balkan region on mercenaries, basically, private contractor. That's the
Right,
play.
right,
right.
Private
Yeah,
contractors. But when they hire out those private contractors to do things because they do not have American soldiers who are either willing or able to go there, you've just killed all your public oversight, meaning you no longer have to be accountable to your budget. Also, it is well documented. Yeah, I've read some shit that
That's fine.
industries that supply the military, because they know the military is damn near a blank check, jack their prices up. So things like it's not a surprise when you look at fucking George W. Bush's cabinet and there's a bunch of people who work for fucking Lockheed Martin involved in it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Or Blackwater and shit like this, because they're just keeping the money moving.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
No doubt. But I just
That's why the military's budget's so high, because they're just taking the money, putting it into these fucking cunts' pockets.
$630 billion high.
Yeah.
Almost
I don't know,
Yes.
man. I don't think so. You're literally talking about almost equivalent to like the United States debt.
Maybe that's why their debt is that. It's in
That
the
is,
trillions.
they have militarized themselves into debt.
Into space.
Absolutely.
Into fucking
Well,
space. Oh, buddy, it's just gonna all come out, man. One day, I'm telling you, it's all there. It's all there. They got
that
fucking.
day-
They got fucking moon bases and shit. Who knows?
That day, you're having a beer with me.
That day, I will fucking have 8 beers with you, but you're smoking a joint with me.
Oh,
All right,
there
we'll
we
both
go.
die.
When the fucking secret space agency comes in and says, "Yeah, guys, we've been going through wormholes for a long time."
We've seen some shit.
Oh yeah, man. I'm telling you. That's technology suppression right there. And that's how you integrate it into the public. You start saying stupid things that people think are stupid. We need a space force just to, have a presence in space. Yeah. Woo! Space Force. Everyone's going to think that's cool as
America.
fuck, right? But really, Space Force happened in fucking 1971. It's already done. They're already traveling fucking crazy speeds, bro. I'm telling you.
You're lucky you're handsome.
Aliens. I find that hard that you think that it's hard to believe.
Why?
Dude, people
I like to believe
Bro,
things
Mickey
that
likes-
there's evidence for. That's why when we
Yeah.
do these conspiracy fucking shows, I don't go in like, yeah, I'm in.
No, I know, but like just being a human, like Mickey likes Vikings. Vikings literally sailed across giant, open, stormy waters in fucking ships made of wood to go to a land they just kind of maybe
Hoped existed.
in the sense of they wanted to conquer and explore. So why the fuck, if that's bred in us, which clearly it is from history of us just fucking exploring and conquering, why would we not go to space? Why would humans not be driven to a new frontier, just like they were driven to the ocean?
You're conflating two vastly different frontiers.
No, I am not.
Yes,
because
you
the
are.
technology
Yes, you
back
are.
then
Because
is
to-
equivalent to what we have now.
No, it's
Is it
not, dog.
Yes, it
No, it
possibly-
is not. Because you fucking get in a boat and you're just a human sitting on a boat. Okay.
No, first you need to construct a boat with your bare hands using very little tools and not machinery.
Right.
Right. So there, first of all, you need to construct a vessel large enough that's going to float to carry fucking armies.
Okay.
Right.
But
So
once
that's the first step.
Raiding
But
parties.
once you leave the atmosphere, do you know how much harder it becomes just to exist?
Yeah, just like when
And
they
those
left the shoreline
technologies are incredibly
and they
different.
didn't have
No,
electricity to
because they
preserve
can
food
fucking-
and they got
'cause
scurvy
they've
and
been
died and then a
fishing
giant tidal wave
and
comes
riding
and kills
in
them.
boats
Yeah,
forever.
they're just on a boat with some sunscreen and like some Beach Boys and some Coors Lights. No, man, these guys are fucking dying. A boat back then is not like a boat now. A boat
I
back then is
understand
like a
that.
spacecraft
But
now.
they have had seaworthy vessels for a long time. The Romans and the fucking Greeks
Yeah.
had seaworthy
we
vessels.
had airplanes.
And they knew about fish.
Seaworthy vessels that went through the sea. A sea is like an inland sea, or just off the ocean to fish. But when deep
But
ocean
the same principles apply.
exploration,
Shit still floats.
yeah, and we fly in the fucking sky with airplanes, bro. We
Right.
had shit to build off
Right.
just like that.
But then you can't breathe once you get out into space.
Yeah,
The
and-
game gets trickier.
And if you go into the water, you can't swim forever.
but you're not in the water.
I'm
You're on
talking
a
about-
boat where all the same principles
Dude,
apply as they did on land.
Relativity of time and technology. Back in the day, that technology was like space technology now. That's what I'm saying. A ship that could cross the ocean was marveled at, just like the Titanic was marveled at. Just like the fucking...
Particularly the Viking boats, too, because they were all... Well, no, but particularly...
To you,
particularly the
a
Viking
boat.
boats, though, because they were essentially... Their design was lakes. They're like, this is not a seaworthy vessel.
Yes.
And then they constructed it so that it's like, oh, we're good here in calm waters, and also, fuck you, ocean. That was the marvel, I think, is really what we're
crossing
kind of
an ocean.
Yeah, but you can fucking tar and pitch a boat, and with a little bit of luck from the weather, off you go.
But also, so I'm getting a lot of what Slick was saying with, again, the drive for more. That like I need to know more. I need to see everything else.
Absolutely.
So, but this is also a time where there was some misconstrued evidence of whether the Earth ended at all, and they're like, "Fuck it, I don't care." The same way he's saying we're going to space. It's hard to breathe up there. Fuck it, I don't care. We're gonna still try our fucking darndest.
We're going to explore.
So
to
like
new
we might
lands.
go off the edge of the planet and into who knows God what. Again, like for me, if someone said, "Hey, Sean, you're gonna die tomorrow," I would be shitting my pants. But these are going, we're gonna die at any given fucking time, possibly going off the edge of the planet to God knows what. Let's go! I can't wait.
No, because the
Yes.
roundness of the Earth was understood at that point, and also the levels of difficulty between those two things are not the same fucking thing.
They were at the time given. To cross an ocean...
No, they weren't.
Why not? Hold on. Slick, why
Yeah.
not? If you don't mind my seriously, why is
I've
it?
been fucking saying why not.
Because it's space and it's water?
Because all the same physical principles apply on a lake as they do on the sea.
Okay.
Because you have the stars to navigate.
Depends,
by.
is it salt or fresh? Because that's also false, because density of salt
I'm
matters.
fresh and I'm getting pretty fucking salty
Hey, bro.
right now.
Hey, man, you get salty, but you're saying wrong things because fresh
I'm
water
not.
and salt water have different buoyancies. Things float better on salt water. So they don't have the same principles. A lake and an ocean are
boat
completely
still
different.
floats,
There's also
motherfucker.
20-meter fucking waves in the ocean, and a lake, they can exhibit, if it's Lake Superior, ocean-like waves. But other than that, there ain't no lakes over there that can do it. So they're not prepared for
You
that
don't even know.
aspect
You
either.
just pulled that out of your ass.
No, I actually did know that.
Because the Sea of Galilee did that.
What?
Sea of
Once?
Galilee?
At least.
There you go.
What about the Red Sea? That was a pretty big title.
Then
right?
you have preservation of food and goods, which then brings disease because it's not on a steam-powered boat. You're being fucking rowed over the ocean by men. Then you have GPS navigation, GPS. You have navigation issues, which brings the crows. That I like that one. The crows. If they came back to the ship, there's no land. If they never came back, they either died or landed on land. That was They also followed. They used stars, obviously.
used the stars,
They used
but,
stars. They used a lot of shit.
There was also the issue of what if there was clouds? How do we do it?
Exactly.
So I just my little input. I do think contextually it is important to understand that yes, from going from A to B on land back then is to us going from A to B to space. I think just because I don't think for them
It's not the same fucking thing.
Nowadays, I think so because now we can land rockets and reuse them perfectly.
well
using AI.
so far.
I think it's definitely the same thing.
I'm seeing both. I'm seeing both.
You're
sides
going into
100%.
the unknown. That is basically the common
Yeah, but you're
ground.
conflating the same level of difficulty, which is not.
No, okay, hold on.
You're going into an environment we literally can't live.
Yes, I understand that, but you don't. You also don't know. Back in the day, I'm talking about the times. Back in the day, you don't know what you're going to. It's the
I
same
get that,
thing. You
but
don't even
still
know.
had your boat. You still had your homies. You still had fish.
Yeah, but you were also like but you can't just be stranded in the middle of the ocean and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm definitely gonna live this one out.
But you're talking
You
about
know?
people who were specifically explorers, who were
And
knowledgeable
warriors.
seafarers. Like,
What about the first ones? The first people to go.
That's what I'm
I
talking
wonder what's
about.
across that big
Yeah.
body of wet. I don't know.
Then once news starts getting back, then you get the Elon Musk explorers back in the day.
'Cause
The Elon Musk Vikings who already know that there's something out there and builds upon there and do it better, do it faster, do it more efficient. But the first people, I just have a hard time. Once you get a
Pioneers.
taste of fucking space, you're gonna want to go back and you're gonna want to go further and you're gonna want to explore more, just like NASA does slowly. But the United States ain't about being slow, other than on changing policies on in their society.
Yeah, they're the real take the
Georgia
time.
and Alabama are pretty fucking slow.
Oh
these
yeah,
days.
and then there's Kentucky. Anyway,
What happened
wow.
in Kentucky?
There's just a lot of fat people.
Oh, well,
Probably
no doubt.
slow.
The Colonel. No, I'm just
All
I
in
say
all,
he did.
yeah, technology suppression was my answer to that
Okay,
question.
that was a long answer.
Yeah,
that was a great answer though. I had a lot of fun with that
Yeah.
one.
Anyway,
Fresh didn't. He's like, no,
mine
wait,
is
you're wrong.
paranormal stuff. I don't believe it at all, but I fucking wear. I like.
You want it to
that
be.
was-
You don't believe it?
When I was a kid, that was my shit. I was like, this feels right.
Dude, I lived through that shit. I believe that.
I know,
Yeah.
but I just obviously I'm not sold
I'm
personally,
fresh.
and I've just never seen anything that would make me believe that or any evidence.
Hey man,
in
to be
favor
fair,
of-
like even though I kind of like lived through it when I was young, I've never really seen. I've had my fair share of experiences or what I thought were experiences, but up to this day, nothing that really
right,
happened to me again.
and the predictive capabilities of such things too, right? So like you wanna test somebody's claim. You say, all right, your claim's true. How can we use this information? And if it's just to fucking get popularity or get money, God forbid, then like you immediately just get suspicious of that person.
Yeah.
But even further, okay, how can we use it? But also, how can we test it? How can I make sure this keeps doing the same thing? And if the answer is always just going to be, well, ghosts are unpredictable, man, fuck you.
Yeah. So,
Well, we talked about this
there
last
has to be a
time.
constant.
You
There
make the
has to be.
It's like you said last time. You make the claim. You have the burden of proof.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
to,
Prove your claim.
or you don't have anything, or you just have a really interesting claim.
It's like the fucking the psychic industry.
Oh yeah.
Like that, those people. This is the thing. If you make your money in a shady way, you kind of suck. But whatever, if you're not hurting people. But if you're shady to the point that you're actually hurting people, and I really think that what psychics do is detrimental because you're lying to people.
Yeah.
And it's almost worse than what organized religions do because everyone kind of knows, and you might find a nice priest who's going to tell you some good shit and you're like, damn, I never thought about that really changed my life, that was good advice, whatever, right? And it'll have like some vague biblical allusion or maybe very specific biblical allusion, sure, but it was good advice.
Yeah.
But a psychic will be like, nah, man, February 19th, dog, I'm telling you. And then February 19th comes and nothing happens. And you're like, oh, shit, did I fuck it up? Did they fuck it up? What happened? Did I piss the universe off? It's so blatant.
More importantly on psychics, I'm glad you brought that up.
I actually think they're bad people.
Yeah, because this is the reason too. When you install a thought in somebody, it's like the movie Inception.
Bingo.
When you put a thought in someone's mind that something's going to happen to them, and you give off the illusion that you're right, and someone actually kind of believes it more than 50%, usually that thought will manifest in your mind, and then you make it a reality. Therefore, those things kind of happen subconsciously.
So
A lot of times, depending on what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
depending.
within
And
the realm
person,
of
too.
possibilities.
It's all very.
So are they psychics or life coaches?
yeah, for real though.
Fucking God, yeah.
real,
I want to go to a psychic though. I do.
I do too.
I
do
really.
too.
We should go to
See,
a
actually-
Kev's got a relative that he said would do it, but he always told me, he's like, you can't go in just being a dick. You gotta have an open mind. And I'm like, man, I would do it. I would fucking
stoic,
do it.
bro. Don't even say a word.
It's
But the thing is, the have y'all seen the psychic shtick? Like, oh, you got like somebody with like a G in their
Oh,
name.
yeah, I've seen all
Oh
that.
yeah, I
They
do. Yeah.
miss you and they wanted to like say what's up.
You know someone with brown hair. Yeah. Oh yeah, that person.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's like for me that's like base level bullshit. That's like one of those people who like the church people like I'm gonna erase the demon from what are those people called? They're televangelists.
Yeah.
I put that level of psychic with televangelists. Just
Yeah.
nothing but bullshit.
What about
garbage.
prophet?
What do you mean?
Prophets.
Like for profits?
No, like Nostradamus or like or not the babushka lady. The
Well, see,
Nostradamus is so fucking
oh,
ridiculous.
I know. No, I'm just saying. What about There's
What
another
about
prophet.
them?
Are they the same realm as psychics? Is what
I
I'm
think
asking.
so. I think it's nonsense.
Interesting thing though, since psychics came up, I had a lady come in my store today who did my numerology.
Huh?
Oh yeah. So I kind of like, oh, fuck, that happened today. Never met this person before in my life. So she comes in, she goes, "Geez, you look so familiar to me. You look like my brother who had passed away, whatever." She showed me a picture of him. I was like, I don't see it, but if you're getting those energies, good for you. So she numerologied me, and then I went and met with a customer. I'm like, it's like I was working with another girl, so she kind of they numerologied each other, and I had to go help a customer, and I come back. It was kind of interesting. Just so you know, my interaction with this woman was probably less than a minute. Now, you guys know me, so less than a minute can open up can open a big Mickey door, and you can see into who I am. But it was pretty much her and somebody else talking, and I'm just kind of waiting. I'm trying to cash her. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll just scan that for you. So I come back, and the girl I work with was like, oh, she just did your numerology or something, whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, what's the answer? She goes, you are very talkative, and you have a very deep passion for beautiful things. I'm like, general. It is really general. Those are very general statements. But they kind of struck home with me because, obviously, I have the gift of gab. I can talk to anybody about anything for any length of time specified.
She said this after you had talked to the other customer?
Yes. Just, again, it's like, oh, where's this? Over here. What's this for? For that. Like, it was boom, boom, boom. It wasn't my normal Mickey conversation with a customer. I guess that can go on for a long time. So it was interesting. I understand it was very vague, but it did strike a chord with me because very much so. I understand. I do talk a lot and I love to talk, but the love for beautiful things, it again so much struck a chord because very much so. I stop and appreciate many beautiful things, whether it be in people, whether it be in art. I have to stop, experience it, let it really get into me. I was like, I thought it was really interesting. I was like, oh, okay, but it's still very fucking general. I could have said the same fucking thing.
Yeah, dog, this bitch just worked you.
Well, I didn't pay her for anything. I was like, oh, okay. And then,
I understand that.
Yeah.
But that is the biggest load of fucking nonsense I've heard this entire time.
This is
So
not that fucking thing that went on for 20 minutes.
Nope.
can I
That's
ask you
worse.
one last question, since we're talking about like psychics and stuff,
All
real
right.
quick. You ever hear of Baba Vanya?
Baba Vanya.
Yeah, the 1990s prophet.
No.
Or they called her like the female Nostradamus.
No,
I
let me go
have
look this
heard of
bitch up
her,
and get
actually.
mad.
80% of her predictions were accurate, apparently.
Yeah, and people say 100% Nostradamus is regular, which they fucking weren't.
I thought they were like it was like less
9/11
than
prediction. Baba Vanya predicted the terror attacks on New York's Twin Towers in 1989.
What'd she say?
said, "Horror! The American brethren, believed to the reference to two towers, will fall after being attacked by the steel birds. The wolves will be howling in a bush, and innocent blood will gush."
Eat a dick.
Well, George
That's
Bush.
so fucking...
Yeah. In 1980, she predicted the sinking of Russian nuclear submarine in the Kursk in 2000. At the turn of the century, in August of 1999 or 2000, Kursk will be covered with water and the whole world will be weeping over it. She literally said the name of the sub.
Yeah, except I've never heard of that.
Oh, you never heard of that?
No.
Oh, you should look that up. It's interesting.
Well, she was wrong.
2016, Muslims will invade Europe, which will cease to exist as we know it. The ensuing campaign of destruction will last years, driving out populations and leaving the entire continent almost empty. That's what she predicted for 2016. So they only give you in this one the two, and then she has the future, like for 2025. Wow, this girl. She predicted 2023 the Earth's orbit will change.
She predicted that Muslims would invade Europe?
Well, let's not get political.
No, that's just what she said.
Like, has literally always been happening since there were Muslims?
Yeah, 2025, the population of Europe will reach almost zero. 2028, mankind will fly to Venus in hope of finding new source of energy. 2033, world water levels will rise as the polar ice caps melt.
But they've been predicting that since like the
2040.
early 1900s.
This is just shit she said.
Sure.
In a book. Europe's transformation to Islamic caliphate is complete. Rome is named the capital. The world's economy thrives under Muslim rule. 2066, America will use a new climate change weapon for the first time in a bid to retake Rome and bring back Christianity. And it goes on and on until she predicts the end of the world to be 5079.
Well, I'll be long gone.
5078, the decision to leave the boundaries of the universe, while about 40% of the population is against it. 5076, a boundary of the universe, with it, no one knows. Yeah, anyway, I just bring this one up because she's very interesting to read about. You should look into it. It's fun. It's just fun. That's all it is.
All right.
Yeah.
It's about as accurate as Nostradamus.
No, definitely a little bit.
The one thing, though,
Nostradamus is a little bit weirder.
one thing I liked about Nostradamus, though, is he is believed to like practicing with the occult sort of thing, like the scrying bowls and shit like that. I don't know what this lady did, but
She worked for the United States government.
okay.
Yeah, this shit goes deep. She predicted a lot of shit.
George Bush worked for the United States government too.
Yeah.
And George,
He did not strike me as particularly prophetic.
No, but he was obviously a puppet.
well, puppets their strings tend to break sometimes.
Anyway, all right, we got to wrap this one up.
Yeah,
this is a long
fuck
one.
it.
So-
my head hurts.
Oh,
I very much enjoyed this. We did kind
fun.
of I think you all did some Mickey takes it off the rails bit. So kudos, welcome to my world. How are you guys feeling about another one of these?
Bad.
games? Feeling bad about it. Okay.
he's feeling real bad.
Real bad. Well, maybe we'll.
I'm feeling good about it.
Maybe next episode will be more hard fact based instead of theorized. Which is again, hey, you know what? Keep it over
Everything's
mind.
theorized at first, baby.
Keep it over mind. Understand that everything is within the realms of possibilities,
Except the things that are.
except the things that aren't.
Yeah, that's what they said in 1901 as well. We'll never fly in the sky. That's impossible.
Well, what was it? Everything that has
I
ever
don't
been
know.
invented,
1880.
everything that will ever be invented has been invented. That was the pinnacle, like early 1900s.
Yeah, some
and
shit
then
like
look
that.
what happened.
Yeah, so who knows? Boom. Anyway, fresh final thoughts?
I'm gonna fucking punch you both.
Why?
Because he's an in the box thinker, not an out of the box thinker.
No, he's always thinking about
kidding. No,
the
he's
different areas
logical.
of the box.
I do agree. You got to be skeptical when it comes to this shit, though. Like,
Yeah.
you do really have to.
I think, and no, you're right. I agree.
You do.
We had a
but you
good-
got to be open. Skeptical, but open.
Yes, I agree. I motioned towards fresh for something. I was like, and
What? I thought you guys were just gonna keep rambling about how anything is possible.
with Barbie.
With Barbie.
You remember those commercials? Oh, okay, I watched a lot of TV.
What the fuck? Shut up. Peace out, everybody.